Restorative thinking is a time to reflect on what you have done.
It's much less, this is my classroom, I'm in charge. This is our classroom.
I think it's actually one of the best things you could do in your school time.
Seeing things from other people's perspective, feeling a bit more empathetic about things.
It certainly has made me think how I talk, how I deal with students, how you approach them.
We deal with conflict every day. We are a big school, there's over 1,000 students, over 100 staff. We are going to fall out. And it's that message that it's what we do when we fall out that matters. It's how we repair the harm that's been done.
It was people hiding under their suitcases so that they wouldn't be hit by the bombs.
I'm Michelle Morgan. I have been given the role of leading on restorative practices within the Academy of St Francis of Assisi. We were lucky enough to secure a place on the pilot scheme, so we've really been able to drive it forward in school. We've been able to, the head of school, Tracy Greenoff, has committed some of my time, which is essential really. She's given me 10 lessons over 2 weeks to really drive it forward and implement it, and as a result of that we're seeing some, the green shoots of success, shall we say.
It's only going to have positive results, but it needs the drive and the backing right from the top, all the way through the staff, every single person behind it 100%.
Right from the head teacher down to the caretakers, cleaners, that everybody is involved in that process, and I think that's really, really important that you have everybody buying into it and that you take the time to embed it within your school so that it can work effectively.
So yeah, there's a lot of work in the short term, but in the long run, it makes for a better atmosphere in your classroom. There's a better environment, so it's definitely worth it.
I think it's really accessible. Everybody loves to talk about themselves, and even kids who might be slightly reluctant at first. I think given the right environment, I think they're quite open and eager to actually discussing what they're really feeling and what the motives are behind their behaviour. I think they want to know just as much as we do why they behave in a certain way. So I think RP has been really useful in that respect.
As part of the pilot scheme, one of the elements of it was to identify a cohort of students who had a specific similarity, so we decided to choose students who were at risk of exclusion, whether it be for one reason or another, generally a behavioural reason. The success of it is that there's 8 of them still here and out of 11.
I'm Logan.
I'm Liam.
I was on the verge of exclusion, and then Miss came up to me one lesson, I think it was in maths, and then she said, do you want to start some restorative practice thing? And I was like, yeah, tell me about it. And it's basically to ways to stop getting yourself angry or getting yourself into trouble. Or if you're not into trouble, just how to deal with it.
Yeah, I used to go through exclusions quite regularly. Used to constantly be in trouble when coming into school, meetings.
Actually, when I started paying attention and listening, it started affecting me in a good way. So
started realising the change, noticing my grades starting to improve. It's not easy and it does take time, but if you spend the time with it and you go through with it, then you will become a better behaved kid and you will be able to see the change that is going to come with the course.
As quietly as possible, go!
Yeah, the students are really good. It usually takes about 30 to 35 seconds to set it up.
I feel like sacred time is to share our ideas.
It gives us time to reflect on what's happening in the world and understand how other people may be feeling.
You talk about who do we want to be and and why.
How are you going to make today a good day? What are you going to do today to make it a particularly good day today?
Be nice with my teachers.
Well, my name's Mr. Fox. I'm an RE teacher here at St Francis of Assisi. We've just completed a circle time with a Year 8 class. Usually takes the format of debating a topic. Today we just done a check-in and a check-out.
My name's Emma Boylan and I'm subject leader for science. We do circle time every week on a Friday. I think it's really accessible. I think for me personally, I started with very simple questions like, what are you doing this weekend? Or what's your favourite hobby? And then it's progressed into more debate and conversations where the students all feel like they can get involved.
It makes you think, if I can talk in
in front of like a group of people, then I can talk to like anyone, and if I can share my emotions, then I can share with other people, because in a way it like makes you feel better, and it like brings like a weight off your shoulders.
As soon as my students come in on a Friday morning, they just know straight away, they get their chairs and they get in a circle. So it's building that up, and it does take a little bit of time, and it does take practice with the students.
I think it's added a lot to the school, but I think it's something that you need to embed constantly. Everybody needs to think about the way they speak to people. I think actually what I like about it is it makes you think about what you're doing, and quite often if you go back and you apologise to a pupil first, they'll apologise to you afterwards. So, you know, it's not that thing, it's not always that the teacher's always right and that how you've handled things is always right. It makes you think about your behaviour as well. And if everyone does that every day, it's definitely a better place. And I think that if you do it, you definitely have much better behaviour management in your classrooms, definitely.
Well, I would say if you were thinking of getting involved with restorative practices, don't hesitate to do it.
Get involved. It's good to know yourself. You can use it in other situations in schools. You can use it at home, at your family.
I'd highly recommend it, yes.
I'd strongly recommend it for any other school, to be honest.
It's changed the way I teach, it's changed the way I interact with family members, students. It's had such a huge impact on me and made me happier in my work.
Our values in the school are about compassion and peace and reconciliation, and it helps to underpin that.
Definitely has added, I think, to the school and how we deal with situations and how you learn to talk to people, how you learn to react as well.
I've got better relationships with students, staff, and it kind of feels like we're all part of one big community as opposed to all doing our own thing.
In the end, it just becomes the norm. It becomes how everybody relates to each other. So I think that's the important thing to bear in mind.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of difference, because restorative thinking is a time to reflect on what you have done. It's a time to make amends with the person that you've argued with. Maybe it might be a teacher, it might be another student, and it's a time for you to say sorry.
So I'll try